The impact of AI is bigger than the impact of the invention of electricity and internet combined. If this is the biggest topic in the world right now, I'm really wondering why this is not taken
seriously with the leaders. Welcome to Reimagining You, the podcast where we explore the power of personal branding, transformation, and leadership in today's hybrid economy. Today's guest, Dr. Joerg Storm, is a global force in digital transformation. He is Germany's #1 LinkedIn tech influencer with over 671,000 followers.
We are now living in a moment where traditional leadership identities are really being reshaped.
The first aspect in unlearning is to be recognizing that these things don't work, because a lot of leaders I've seen, no, it worked before, it will work now.
Leaders must become the orchestrator of AI rather than the pure consumer.
These executives and the professionals, they're kind of rethinking their identity in the age of AI. They come from probably the knowledge economy. How do we help these professionals transition or embrace the creator economy or the attention economy in general?
Executives who use AI to enhance their leadership voice, they gain real edge.
Life have changed, tools have changed, the digital age is here. It won't work, so you have to recognize that it won't work anymore and you have to let go.
Unlearning is basically about subtracting outdated paradigms to make space for new ones.
Welcome to Reimagining You, the podcast where we explore the power of personal branding, transformation, and leadership in today's hybrid economy. Today's guest is not just shaping the future, he's decoding it for the world. Dr. Joerg Storm is a global force in digital transformation and AI leadership with a career that spans continents, cultures, and cutting-edge innovations. From executive roles in Japan, the USA, and China to the C-suite in Europe, Joerg brings a rare blend of economic insight and tech mastery. He is Germany's #1 LinkedIn tech influencer with over 671,000 followers last time I checked, hanging around on his insight. As the founder of the Digital Storm Weekly and an AI newsletter read religiously by top execs at Apple, Meta, Microsoft, and beyond, Joerg does not just talk about AI and productivity. He makes them accessible, actionable, and yes, even entertaining. He is witty, he's wise, wildly relevant. Joerg's voice is the one that you want guiding you through the noise of the digital age. Welcome, Joerg.
Hi, Elie. Thanks very much for this invitation.
You're welcome. Joerg, I was doing a little bit of research. Obviously, I have to research you a little bit, and I was fascinating with all the contribution and values that you're producing. I came across some of your LinkedIn posts, and I have to say, your style is very unique. You serve insight, but with a side of a wit, right? And every post has this great blend of substance and storytelling. One actually that really stood out to me, the AI selfie makeover. Can you tell me about that?
Which one was it?
The AI selfie makeover, where you kind of experimented with the AI tool to generate your profile picture, then gave you a little bit of hair and fixed you up and made you beautiful.
So this one, yeah. From time to time, I post on this topic. This is not, I think, a brand new topic. There are a lot of picture apps out since quite some time, and I also am in the advisory board of one Dubai-based startup, Musavir.ai, which had those kind of features already, I think, over a year ago. The way you can upload your picture and then say, okay, now from my face, make a picture, me and look like an astronaut, something like this. But now with the new features in ChatGPT, where you can upload your face and basically you make 4 pictures, from your face around you, and then you can say, okay, now make a nice picture for my CV. I think this is a very incredible result if you imagine this. I'm still trying to tweak this so that I get more hair, but I only need the proper prompt.
Yeah. Well, I did that over Christmas where I had that app, one of the apps, where they dressed me up with a nice Christmas sweater, picture with the next reindeer and a fireplace, and I sent it to all my friends. And I said, "Wow, where is this?" They thought I'm somewhere in the Alps. So
Yeah, they're very, very cool apps.
the second one is actually one of your probably dream. I don't know if it is reality now, which is the AI barista. The barista, the coffee maker.
So
You
yeah,
you
there
want
was,
to train a neural network that knows
yeah,
exactly how you like your coffee, even before you wake up. You you want to
yeah,
tell us a bit about this?
yeah. It looks like you really read a lot of my posts. Very good.
Well, I have to do my research.
You even do that better than remember better than I. Yeah, I think this is a very very cool feature. Yeah? And imagine a world not now, but in a couple of years, yeah, where you have not only your Apple Watch, yeah, but maybe an Apple up 2.0 or 5.0 upgraded watch, which knows a lot about you and knows exactly when is the right timing for a new coffee, for coffee to upgrade, to make you feel fit and awake. And I think this is only a matter of time until we have this. And then you get directly this the
Watch.
command, Jörg needs a coffee or Elie needs a coffee, goes directly to your coffee machine and you get directly the perfect blend coffee there. Here, you better take this coffee now because afterwards you will feel much better. And I think this is probably only a matter of time until we have something like this, some features like that.
Yeah, or tea, yeah, because this region is all powered by tea as well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, very good. Quick break from the conversation. If you're listening to this, it means you care about building your success through your personal brand. And I have something for you. I've created a free masterclass that shows you exactly how to unlock your influence and position yourself for the next chapter of your career. The link is right below this episode. It's completely free. Enjoy watching. And now let's get back to the episode. Now let's dive into really the core of personal branding. And my 10-step process starts always with a mission and a purpose. Of course, you need to decide really where you're going to be heading, what's going to happen to you, who you're going to be in the next few years, so you can draft your personal mission statement and start building for it and creating your personal brand. So, talking about you, what personal mission drives your work in digital transformation today?
Yeah, I think a very good question. I think that's a very personal one, yeah, and also I would say a global one. As you mentioned before in the intro, I spent over 12 years living and working in Asia, including in leadership roles in Japan, China, and also US. And I think this experience changed everything for me. I saw how radically different approaches are, also in terms of innovation. For example, over there in China, we were using AI for predictive diagnostics in after sales solutions that I think haven't even scaled in many Western companies. In China, we have platforms like WeChat, integrated payments, or Alipay, customer service
Yes.
and automation in most European firms are just starting to imagine that something is possible. And I think there's in my time in Asia, there's no fear of failure. They launch super fast, they learn fast, and then they scale with ambition, I would say. And that showed me if we don't shift our mindset in Europe from risk avoidance to opportunity creation, I think we will fall behind. And you see something like this already. And only ask yourself, where are the big LLMs? They're either Meta, Microsoft, ChatGPT, Copilot, or in China, but there is almost nothing in Europe at the moment. Only Aleph Alpha. But we have very good data protection laws. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Opportunity, risk. So I think
Yes.
my mission is simple: to help companies from talking about transformation to really doing this, to build something scalable, AI-enabled IT infrastructure, create digital roadmaps that don't just sit in PowerPoint, but at the end drive real value. So this is was I think my idea behind. And
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice mission, very simple, very powerful. Our audience, our viewers, are really probably most of them are executives sitting in a comfort trap. In a corporate world, they have a lot of value. They contribute tremendously in their organization, but they're hiding behind a business card, a title, a company name, and this will open doors for them. But their value is really not visible to the outside world. Their value is very appreciated, probably in their company. But for outside, nobody knows that this gentleman is probably an AI expert, or this lady is probably an ESG expert. Um, for you, I think you have married both corporate leadership and you shifted to thought leadership because you can claim the thought leadership around AI expert, but also you're also still working in a corporate environment and helping corporations. So how did you manage both? How were you able to go and build this thought leadership, be visible outside while you're in the corporate side? Give us some tips and tricks.
Okay. I think this also started in parallel. Yeah.
Mm.
While on the one hand, I was building large scale tech initiatives at a German premium car company across the globe, I began sharing what I was learning on LinkedIn. And I tell you why, yeah, because I'm German. Yeah, always thought I know everything. Yeah, but I was really proud. I said, yeah, I'm German, made in Germany, very good. But then you are in Tokyo and take a Shinkansen train, and you say, oh, this looks different to the German ICE train. Or you are in China and you can get a haircut at 3 o'clock at night on Sunday if you want. But on Sunday in Germany, everything is closed. Or you are in China, you can order everything in the supermarket, everything you need, and it gets delivered in 30 minutes. And this basically not really existing in Germany. Yeah, also the digital payment. So I
Mhm.
think this and those topics I thought combined with the fact that China was able to build the biggest airport in the world in 4 years, and Germany needed for airport in Berlin 14 years. Those topics I try to share on LinkedIn. Why for my colleagues and friends to show them, hey, there's a world outside of Germany, of our company, and those are I think there was no plan behind, yeah, only some insights, lessons learned, and some truth about what was working or not working in that time.
Mm.
And to my surprise, the people responded on this, yeah, and some posts went viral. Some leaders reached out to me. Suddenly, I realized my voice wasn't just helping one company, or my workforce wasn't just helping one company. I could even push entire industries forward, and that's what I decided to lean into that topic. I turned content into impact, and I went, I think, from being an IT leader with a company network, as you mentioned, to becoming a thought leader with a mission. And my mission, I think, is still has not changed. Accelerate the digital process and make sure Europe doesn't get left behind. So this was my mission. What I did.
It's exciting because what I take away from your description is that your LinkedIn, is your not your company LinkedIn. You used it to express content that you feel there is a value there, probably geared for your company colleagues or the company environment. But then the external world latched on it and looked at the value, and then there was value for them too. And that's why it went viral and reached out to you. So the whole mission of posting and contributing value, being visible, got transformed into the beacon of information for the world, which is great. I think this is a great lesson for us to learn that don't be shy, post. Your LinkedIn is your LinkedIn, not your company LinkedIn. Company have their webpage and their company LinkedIn page. But contribute. If you have some value to share, share it because the world needs it. and don't be shy. Very good. Now, what I also take away from your discussion is a lot of observations. You went to China, you've observed this. You went to Japan, you've observed this. What makes you an expert in AI? The market is flooded in AI experts, but observations does not make you an expert in solutions. So how was this transformation? How did you build your credibility as an AI expert?
To be honest, there are a lot of smart voices out there, and a lot of AI expert also will suddenly show up. But I think what gives me a real edge is that I've actually lived through the evolution of enterprise IT and AI, and I did not only watch that, as you mentioned, that I spent 25 years now in leading big scale IT projects. And I've been in the AI space, machine learning space, long before it was trendy. And I still remember my first real AI project. This was, I think, in the year 2000.
Oh, okay.
And we did, and at that time I was on a consulting company, and we did a trend forecasting prognosis on steel coils, the buffer warehouse for steel coils, 40-ton steel coil. What kind of materials you have to put in the buffer warehouse to be able to provide the right products to your market? And this we did with neuronal networks. No fancy GPT hype, only hard problems solved by machine learning. So for me, I think this AI, this is not only a theory or headlines, and at the end, I think it's all about delivery at a scale with real consequences. And I think I have 2 accounts on LinkedIn, now 1.2 million followers, plus 500,000 readers on the newsletter. I think this audience helps me also to validate trends quickly and stay also grounded what really matters to decision makers.
You also published your Digital Storm newsletter. Tell us a bit more about the Digital Storm, because really it amplified your brand and message. I think you have 1.2 million, is it, subscribers to this newsletter?
500,000 on the newsletter.
500,000, okay.
And 1.2 million on the, I would say, brand in LinkedIn.
Wow.
It has to be weekly because Digital Storm is basically a hardware gaming PC provider. But my newsletter is Digital Storm weekly. Let's call it ecosystem. So we get 500,000 readers, which get the messages directly weekly in their inbox. And I think those are not only casual subscribers. I target mainly leaders and experts, and I can check where the subscribers come from the email address also, for example. And there are a lot from Google, Meta, Siemens,
Nice.
BMW, McKinsey. So, and I think this beauty of the newsletter is, I think the reach and the relevance. And I think this gives me very good line decision, or gives me a very good direct line to decision makers and also the people which shape this AI topic every day.
How long have you been doing this to build that number of followers or subscribers?
I have LinkedIn in 20 years, my account.
Okay, but I mean, you
never
didn't have followers.
never didn't do anything. The last 20, let's say 20 years, and there was only my CV. Like for 99% of all others, it's only
Yes.
the CV. But I think around 6-7 years ago, published something. And then I did this daily. This is a crucial part. Daily, not once a month or quarterly or once a week, daily, and also engage with the audience properly. This took 6-7 years to get that to that scale. The newsletter is now 1.5 years old.
There's a lot to learn from you. You're my idol in terms of followers and stuff, because I'm still building, right? So any lessons are good lessons.
I told you, consistency.
Yes, yes. And I do post every day, actually, but I'm still early on. I mean, it's only a few months that we started. And I try to tell all my customers, all my friends, all my colleagues to, post consistency, but post of things with value, because there's a lot of noise today on LinkedIn with this outbreak of AI, anybody can just go on ChatGPT, write me a post, and write a post, and there'll be a cookie cutter with no value. So really, it has to be authentic. It has to be from a story or an experience. It has to be from the human, and it has to give value, really. And that's what I advocate today.
Correct. Those two topics, yeah, value you provide to others, and then also consistency. Plus, I would say then the third one is engagement with your community.
Yes, exactly. Engagement with the community, know who to engage with, and then engage authentically as well. Let's talk about the trends that are happening today. These executives and the professionals, the audience and the viewers, they're kind of rethinking their identity in the age of AI. They come from probably the knowledge economy, like me, right? I went to university, I learned engineering, and then I grew up in a corporate world. I learned a lot. I studied, I contributed. So I amassed a lot of knowledge. And as I progressed and matured in the organization, I pass on the knowledge to others. Today, most of my work is knowledge based, and then I pass on knowledge to others. However, the economy has been, it's now shifting towards the attention economy, where you have the creator economy, where you have all this content creation, or the intimacy economy, where you're really in tune with the customer behavior and needs. So professionals and executive, when they build their personal brand, they're a bit confused because they don't really know what to do in the other side, right? In the attention economy. They're still playing in the knowledge economy. You're playing in both because and I'm playing in both. I'm playing in the knowledge economy, but I'm also playing in the content economy. I've got a little ebook. I've got an online course. I go and speak in conferences, and also I have knowledge that I manage companies and contribute to the others. How do we help these professionals transition or embrace the creator economy or the attention economy in general? What do they need to do and fine tune in terms of their way forward in order to be in this hybrid economy?
A difficult one, but I think we are now living in a moment where traditional leadership identities are really being reshaped, fundamentally, I would say. And I read something, I think this was in Harvard Business Review, that leaders must evolve into what they call AI augmented strategists. So people who combine deep domain knowledge with a smart layer of AI intelligence to scale their thinking, decisions, and communication. And I made a keynote on one topic. It's called human-machine collaboration. This phrase came from McKinsey also, where leaders must become the orchestrator of AI rather than the pure consumer of insight. So they have to orchestrate this. And I think this changes your identity. So you're not just longer a decision maker, you're a designer of an ecosystem. So this means understanding how to prompt AI, how to validate the output which you get from AI, and how to use AI efficiently, ethically also. I think there's a trend that executives who use AI to enhance, I would not say replace, enhance the leadership voice, they gain a real edge. So,
Very well said.
yeah,
Very well
my
said.
opinion.
I know you can handle difficult questions.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
I like the one that you mentioned, and if you can tell me again what was it, because I'd like to capture it. The one that Harvard mentioned, leadership with augmented what exactly?
AI, I think they talked about AI augmented strategist.
AI augmented
People
strategist.
to combine deep domain knowledge with smart layer of AI intelligence. You have domain knowledge and AI intelligence combined.
Very well, very nice. The both of them, the McKinsey and the Harvard one, I think I love it. Thank you. I learned something today. One other question. So I'm an executive. I don't know where to start with all these tools and information, and I'm still beginning. I need to unlearn. I'm going to unlearn some of my old ways, right, that don't serve me anymore. But I want to relearn and embrace the AI age. Give me a few tips or things that I need to learn. Where do I start?
First, I think it's this unlearning thing. I think you also mentioned this,
Yes.
how to unlearn that. Yeah, I think if you step out of the traditional corporate executive role into, for example, an advisory role, what I do, this required me some kind of fundamental shift. Yeah, as a long-standing leader in a large enterprise, I always assumed that my experiences, my frameworks, decision-making styles, and models would be immediately valued to others. And I think this is, you mentioned that before, remember, right? And I think
Yes.
that belief, I think I needed to unlearn first.
Yes.
In my case, I had to accept that when I worked in my context very well, I may not land in another, especially as companies are so different in culture, scale, size, and also readiness in digital transformation. So this one size fits all looks like this does not work. This unlearning, I read also something like on the unlearning is basically about subtracting outdated paradigms to make space for new ones, and not only to accumulate new knowledge on top. So you have to subtract outdated paradigms to make space for new knowledge. Also, for me, I learned I needed to let go a lot of my default assumptions. What I mentioned before. And being in Asia, I learned a lot of things. Which made me the person which I am right now. So instead, and then you question what to learn. I think I made some space for curiosity, to listen more, to learn faster, and also to co-create a solution. I think this was shapes my identity today. Does this answer the question?
Yes, of course, and it's beautifully answered. I think the unlearning is key, particularly for any age. I'm 62. It's not about my age to unlearn because I amassed over 35, 38 years of corporate wisdom,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
a lot of those don't work. I mean, what I've learned 20 years ago does not work today. So I have to really unlearn, and make space, as you said. I love the way that you do the relearning is just observation, curiosity, instigation, and just observe it and learn it with a have a blank space, and then just absorb, and then make your own conclusions, make your own assumptions again, and build it from there. And of course, you need some baggage, you need some other learning that you have to do. It's not only curiosity, right? Because you need to understand the basis and the foundations. So, what foundations I need to study? I mean, do I need to go and take an AI course? Which AI course? Do I need to play around with? I mean, ChatGPT is one thing. I did a prompt engineering certificate. It helped me, and then I see a lot of things today. I just somebody sent me even a website builder in 5 minutes. Replit. I don't know if you've heard of it. That defeats the whole web designer completely. You can build a whole website in 5 minutes now. How powerful is that? How do people find these tools? I mean, if I didn't receive it from somebody, I wouldn't have known about it.
How to find? I think you can subscribe to my newsletter. Then
Okay.
you will see a lot of those tools. We always have a deep dive session in, let's say, tool of the week, and overall some tools. The best ones rated in Product Hunt, for example, from the last week. So you get always on the latest update. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, they're extremely interesting times, and I have a feeling a lot of the leaders, they don't take this as serious as it should be. Yeah, and I only remember a quote from, I think, Goldman Sachs. They stated the impact of AI on the GDP is bigger than the impact of the invention of electricity and internet combined on the GDP.
Wow.
And McKinsey stated it's 4.4 up to 7 point something trillion USD GDP growth. But if this is the biggest topic in the world right now, bigger than internet and electricity combined, then I'm really wondering why this is not taken
seriously with the leaders. Yeah,
one in every board meeting, because I think at the end it's not AI will make you obsolete. It's probably other companies which are using AI and which will be faster implementing AI. They will endanger the business.
Yes, definitely. If you're not on the bandwagon, you're just going to be left behind. Exactly. But we see in our region here in the UAE and Saudi and this in the Gulf region, there's a massive investment in AI, in AI farms, and AI factories and technologies. And I think people are realizing, governments are realizing that this is the future and they want to be really ahead of the curve, which is great. I see that in few of the governments leading that initiative.
Yeah, Saudi government is. I think they even have an own AI minister, if I'm right.
Yeah, UAE as well. This whole region is really believing in this, and they're investing heavily in the future, which is great. Yeah. Now moving on to the next phase. So we've talked about the mission. We've talked about the value, unique value, and how did you come up with being credible. We talked about relevance, and we started talking about now the activation, which is your social media, LinkedIn. We talked about consistency, giving value, being authentic. Talked about the newsletter that you have, and I will put a link at the end of this episode for the newsletter because I will be subscribing first and getting the latest because I want to know all these tools and what do I use them for. That's great. We talked about how to prepare yourself, which is the unlearning and then relearning. Now we're going to move down a little bit on monetization. Let's take an executive who has now listened to this podcast, started building his profile, getting more visible, putting this value, whatever he or she claiming, posting, talking. Do you actually go physically into conferences and stuff? Because we talked only at the digital space, but we didn't talk about the physical space. Do you do a lot of keynote speeches? Do you publish papers? Do you sit in panels?
Sorry, yeah. From time to time, yeah, I do keynote speeches. The last one was 2 weeks ago at a conference in Frankfurt. For sure, this I do some panels from time to time, but it's always a matter of time. Yeah, if I have time to do that, yeah? Because I have basically two lives. Yeah, my corporate life, which is prior one. Yeah, on the other topics, I would say from my hobby grown into a business is I would say still prior two. Plus family, this should not be priority 3. This should
That's
be
3. Yes.
so a lot of
priority 1, family.
Yes, or health, yeah, maybe prior 1.
Yeah.
And
True.
a lot of things are going on there. Yeah.
So on the corporate side, you've got your role, you've got that. On your hobby, do you actually monetize this, or you're giving value for free?
I grew up to, I think, up to 400,000 followers, and then I met an influencer in Stuttgart, in Germany, and they said, "Hey, you're not doing any monetization." I said, "Oh, okay, you're right." I didn't have this on my radar screen because, like other people go in the gym or other people smoke a cigarette, and I do a LinkedIn post. Yeah, so I didn't think about this, and I have my main job, which I super like. Yeah, but let's give me a try. And then I started with ebooks, and I wrote some ebooks on Gumroad. There's a link also on my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. I could never imagine something like this. Yeah, I put a link in my post, and then suddenly people bought some ebooks from me without doing anything after the book is done. Yeah, I thought, okay, this is very interesting. And then I started a newsletter. Also, some companies approached me and said, can we work together with you on some LinkedIn or the newsletter for keynotes? They asked me. Plus now, then because I'm so big in this AI scene, companies also ask me if I can help them in implementing AI into their organizations. So we start normally with kind of a strategy workshop, an ideation workshop. We define POCs, make a business case calculation, and then put this into development. Or other companies say, okay, you're the biggest, one of the biggest tech influencers in Europe. We know you can, you know how you do. Can you help us? So then they came to me. I could also work for you, Elie, yeah, if you like. I say, okay, I want to be seen as a thought leader in a specific segment. So then I help them with a LinkedIn strategy, the content generation, content scheduling, and everything what is behind, all the techniques behind, to make them grow and make them seen in social media. And so there are several ways, and I'm thinking it's still not at the end. And was it, did you talk? I think you said about this, yeah, that you have a course on digital goods.
Yeah.
I don't have that yet, but I definitely know I have to do. Yeah, I have to do. I had no time so far to do so, but I know this would be very good on my to-do list.
Very good. Yeah, because I think that's key for the audience and the viewers, because they have a lot of value, so they need to think about monetizing this and monetizing it, basically moving and contributing from the knowledge economy where they sit today to the attention economy. So if they have content in the creator economy, it's ebooks, it's courses, it's any digital product that you can put there, for money or without money, but that's where you play. And on the intimacy economy, and this is where you can then build a trust, consult, coach, these kind of approaches that you can monetize the value of your knowledge. So you're doing a bit of that. You're not there complete, and you were pleasantly surprised that you sold some ebooks already. I'm sure you will sell more, and if you put the course, you'll sell it. And if you do a master class, you'll sell it. So you can monetize, and that's really what I wanted to take out from this particular question: is how do you monetize now that your knowledge is out, your value is out, you are visible digitally and physically. The next step is really monetizing it. The last really question is legacy and impact. And it was clear from your mission statement that what you wanted to do is have an impact on the world, have an impact in Europe, particularly, making sure that European companies embrace the AI, get on the bandwagon, and transform. And that's, I think, where you want to leave a legacy behind. That's because you're the number one tech influencer in Europe.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, but for me, I think I want to accelerate Europe digital transformation so that it can
Yes.
compete on a global stage, and more importantly, yeah, so that our children have the kind of future which they deserve. And I think I'm on a mission to help companies to build AI cloud infrastructure that outlast project timelines and the leadership changes. I'm doing this also for my kids. Looking into this, what I see, I think we will have tremendous changes in future, also due to AI. Living in Germany, living in Europe, there is some time to catch up,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
True, true. We're coming to the end of the episode. Another hard question for you. I'm sure life was not rosy during that whole journey, and you must have failed once or twice. Can you share a failure? Most importantly, what you've learned from it?
Yeah. I'm doing also courses on university about intercultural communication. Yeah,
Okay.
and we Germans, we are super direct. Super
Mhm.
direct. We are famous for being working like a machine, very very good organized. Yeah, always on time. But when I was working in Asia, let's say in Japan, they're opposite on the cultural scale to Germany. then I found it's not the fact that my way is always the best way. That's what I had to learn, because I tried to say, hey, you have to do this now, and why you are not doing something, and why this takes so long. But the Japanese, we Germans, we roll up the sleeves and say, okay, let's go. Americans are even faster than we, but the Japanese they've been super slow. They have been. And now I know why, because they have been thinking about how can I avoid any risk? How can I make sure the customer stays with us in a long-term orientation? And so I gave them they needed more time to think about, but at the end, the outcome was much, much, much better than what I could have done. Because I said, okay, now hurry up and let's do something. So lessons learned. It's not always that everything what I think is right. You can also take another road and reach Rome. Doesn't have to be always my road.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end of today's episode of Reimagining You. Dr. Joerg Storm, thank you. Thank you for showing us that reinvention doesn't mean abandoning the past, but rather upgrading it with purpose, personality, and a touch of play. So, from corporate transformation to AI evangelism, you've led with clarity, curiosity, humility, and humor. Thank you again. Thank you for being open, transparent, honest, and direct, like Germans.
Also, you know that? Yeah, correct.
Absolutely. I enjoyed every minute of the conversation. I learned tons from you, and I'm sure that the audience and the viewers will enjoy this episode. Thank you again.
Elie, thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
For our audience, if this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone else who's also redefining what leadership looks like. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for more stories from the edge of reinvention. New guests, new stories every Thursday, 5 p.m. Dubai time. Thank you so much.